Hello, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Life Collective. Welcome to Consciousness and Energy of the Week connection that we always do on Sunday with our guest, Michael Ocher, who is a Kabbalah teacher and a spiritual teacher and a Theta healing practitioner. And today we have a huge topic. The conversation is about proactive confrontation. Also, we are right at the great at a day before a great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. So it's a huge energy that is being revealed. And how do we use it? How do we plug into it? Is all that we're going to talk about today. So my name is Julia Bernatsky. I'm the co-founder of Conscious Life Collective and founder of Untamed Hearts. And I'm your host today. And I'm going to pass it along to Michael. Proactive confrontation. How do we do that?
Yeah. Thank you, Julia. Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday, or whenever you're watching it. Hope you're having a great week. And it's a very special time we're in. Like Julia mentioned, a very special event that hasn't happened in 200 years, and exactly like this in 800 years is happening tomorrow. And we've all been under the influence of it for already a lot of months. It's going to peak tomorrow. Tomorrow is the actual peak when it happens. And it's when two very big planets, generational planets in our solar system, are going to be appearing as if they're right next to each other in 0 degrees from Earth. And they're also in a very special sign, the sign of Aquarius, the sign of people, the sign of freedom, sign of humanity, equality, no more hierarchies, no more someone's better and someone's worse, someone is ruling and someone is, being ruled by. So a huge change is coming, such powerful, really positive change. In very few words, what our Kabbalistic astrologers are saying with us is that it's gonna amplify wherever you are. So if you are on a spiritual path, if you are on a path of self-discovery and looking within, it's going to be amplified for you. And if not, then obviously, you're going to be propelled and projected in another direction. Hopefully, we are all facing in the right direction. We're all conscious. We are living a conscious life. And conscious lives meaning you can look at yourself from the side. You are not very much under the situation. You're not under the conflict, the whatever situation you're in, but you're above it. You're able to look outside from a side at yourself. And the energy, specifically, that's what we're talking about. We talk about the energy of the week. Energy of the week is all about what is confrontation. What is it when you have an issue with someone, and what do you do? And there's different ways of how people deal with difficult situation confrontations. Some people hide. Some people run away and don't face the confrontation. Some people avoid it and freeze. And some people are very aggressive and go head on and confront right away. And those are the typical, ways of how we confront something. And everyone is different in different situations also. There's no rule that you are always this way in every single confrontation. We can have confrontation with our coworkers, our bosses, our friends, our family members, in our relationships. What Kabbalists teach us is that confrontation is a tool to help us grow, to help me grow to my next level. Because if I am running away from it, then I'm being reactive. And if I'm following my nature, then I'm just being what we call reactive, meaning just follow whatever is natural for me, whatever is easy for me. And the more I do that, the less I grow. Now, in confrontation, usually there's a lot of emotions involved. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of anger it could be that people are experiencing. But what's really the biggest obstacle in having a proactive, healthy confrontation is the ability to detach yourself from emotions, from whatever emotions you're feeling. Someone can feel anger, someone can feel hurt, someone can feel that like they've been betrayed, someone can feel many different emotions. Everyone has their own list of emotions that they feel whenever they're go into a confrontational state. But the biggest trick that we have is to be able to identify what emotions am I experiencing? What emotions are in me that are connected with this situation? Am I blaming the person? Am I pointing the finger? Am I saying it's all their fault? Am I blaming myself, which is also not healthy? What is going on inside of me? So that's the biggest question. And after you identify what is happening inside, then you're able to go a little bit deeper. And in spirituality and in Kabbalah, what you do is you always take time for yourself. You always kind of try to look within, the journey within. It's the best journey that you can ever take. The best journey you can ever take in this world is inside of you, a self-discovery, to find out more what is happening inside of me. And a great tool to have in these situations is somebody from a side, somebody who can look from the side and give you a different perspective and tell you, you know what, that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And why do you think it bothers you so much? Because usually if something bothers us a lot about another person, it's simply an indication of a trait that we also have. So if you have a confrontation with your coworker and they go to your superior right away, and that bothers you, that means that you have that trait also. You actually don't like confrontation also, and you prefer to use, run to somebody higher and to complain, right? So that's a simple tool. Now, when we if we do come to a place of neutrality, confrontation is never about proving who's right or wrong. There is no right and wrong. There's no one is right and nobody is wrong. Everyone has something right and everyone has something wrong. There's no black and white. There's always gray. And the more I come to a place that confrontation should just be about expressing how you feel and sharing your opinion, but not having the expectation from the other person to do whatever it is that you think that they should do, that's when you're going to have successful confrontation. When it will simply be that I am simply expressing to you how this makes me feel and my opinion, and I'm not trying to prove or trying to make you think a certain way, but this is just a discussion of where we are expressing each other's feelings, opinions, that's when it's going to have a good confrontation. Because if you are trying to make the person see that they're wrong and you're right, you're destined for failure. You're not going to be successful in that confrontation because you have an agenda. You have an agenda and you want to prove to them that they're wrong and you're right. And that's not what this world and life is about. The more I focus on that, the less chances of having a good, healthy, spiritual confrontation I'm going to have. The more I'm going to be able to focus simply. First of all, I need to understand where I'm coming from and simply share and express what I'm feeling and my opinion, and also have a space between the two of you where you are both able to express those things. Meaning, I want to be able to express that, and I want the other person also to be comfortable in expressing that with me. That's when you can have a very healthy confrontation in that scenario. But if my agenda is going to be to prove to this person that they are, list of things that you think about them, how intelligent, how nice, and how friendly and kind they are, we're not going to get anywhere. Because that's not point of life, is not to prove to other people that your opinion is right. sharing your opinion, expressing it in a way that you just, if they, you can also ask them, would you like to have a talk? Would you like to have a conversation? And would you like me to share what I feel? And you can share what you feel, and I can share what I think, and you can share what you think. If you have that, that's going to be a very healthy and very productive conversation. If your agenda is going to be to prove that your certain thinking, your certain opinion is the way that they should live their life by, then you're just trying to make a dictatorship, and you're just trying to rule someone and influence them and pursue them and, force them into a certain way of thinking. And Rav Ashlag, the founder of the Kabbalah Center today, he says a very beautiful quote. He says, there is no coercion in spirituality. Meaning, in your spirit, in your heart, in your soul, there's absolutely no way to make you think or feel a certain way. It has to come from you. It cannot be forced on you. It has to come proactively from you. So yes, hearing an opinion and being open to hearing other people's opinion is amazing. But you need to also be able to express how you feel, why you feel that way, and to see, okay, so we just have different opinions, and that's also okay. Like the famous story of the biblical story of Abraham and his nephew Lot. Abraham realized that they have very different points of view, but they have very different perspectives. That one is more into spirituality and the other is more in just to, living their life and whatever they feel like doing. And Abraham told him, listen, I don't want to confront with you. I don't want to quarrel with you. I don't want to have issues with you. I don't want these issues to keep building. You go right, I'll go left. You go left, I'll go right. So he was able to proactively solve that situation with him. And there's many, many stories of that. But really, the key points to understanding confrontation, it's a great way to self-discovery, to understand yourself better, and an amazing opportunity to proactively communicate with someone. Where I repeat this, you simply want to express yourself. You do not want to enforce or force the other person in your way of thinking or your way of feeling, or to prove that whatever you are thinking or feeling is the right way and they're wrong. Whether it be with your kids, whether it be with your coworkers, whether it be your boss, your relationship, anything, your spouses, any time you have this, it should just be for you to as a place of expression, a place of vulnerability, a place of a way intimacy, in a way of expressing yourself, what's happening inside of you. But it should not be a way for you to force a certain way of feeling or force a certain way of belief. So that's we are raised in society that teaches us that the person that is louder is the right one, the person that is saying the last word is the right one, the person that we're taught in a society that you want to win. We're in a linear usually system where whoever's on top is considered better. However, in spirituality is circular. Spirituality is endless. Nobody's better than the other in reality. We're all equal. Whenever you think that you're better than another person, you're falling into an illusion. All humanity is equal, every single one of us. Some are just more open, but again, if you are more open and that's your kind of word to say to the other person that you see I'm more open, that's also not going to help. That's not the point. But if you have another place that you can come from is genuine care. And again, if you really care, you're just going to be able to express how you feel, not try to go with an agenda of proving to the other person that you are right and they are wrong. Nobody's right and nobody's wrong. Everyone is right and everybody's wrong in a certain way. And what you always want is to have unity. That should be the agenda. If your agenda is to have an ability, just not even unity, that's not the right way to put it. It's the desire to have a space where you're able to express yourself and hear the other person. That's all you want. A space, a healthy, peaceful space where I am able to express myself And as you're doing it, there should be a rule that there's no interruptions. That's already practical way. When you are in this talk or confrontation, I want to be able to express myself without being interrupted. And when I'm done, the other party continues and they're able to express themselves. But it is not a time of, a screaming fun and who's louder and who gets the point across better. But this space that we have this sacred holy space between us where I am able to confront myself and you are able to confront me. And confrontation has kind of like a bad word, like you need to hit. But really the hitting is inside of you. It's the hitting of your ego, the telling of your ego that you need to relax. You don't need to prove who's right and who's wrong. That everyone has the right to be right. Everyone. Doesn't matter what their opinion. As long as they're not physically hurting you, they have an opinion to be the right to be right. But you want to lose the agenda of what ego is telling us, that you want to be right, you want to prove them how right you are and how stupid they are and how unintelligent they are, etc. If you're after that, then you're not into self-growth. If you're into self-growth, you want to establish these rules. We're just expressing ourselves. If you don't mind, I'll express myself. I'll express my feelings, emotions, and opinion. And then you are also able to do that. And then you can come back to it later or see how it goes. But these rules of holding the space, kind of, like in some places they have a talking stick, right? So we can, you don't have to use a stick, but the imaginary, or use a stick if you want. Use the imaginary talking stick. Whoever holds it has the ability to talk. If you want to prepare for it, there's always definitely forgiveness involved, and forgiving yourself and asking for forgiveness from the other person. Again, doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. It's just you want to use this situation to grow spiritually, and you want to be able to use this confrontation in order to be able to grow. So, but you don't want to have like a fighting match. It's not a combat that whoever comes out on top is the right one, and you want to, your ego wants to shine, and your ego wants to say, oh, I'm better than you, I know better than you, and this is how you should do it. And, this is how I was raised, and that's how it should be done, and etc.
Yeah. That's great, Michael. We've got so much right now to address. Like, this is amazing because I am sure that each one of us, if we lived on this earth for 10 years, we had to confront, we had these feelings, or maybe even less, since we were children. And knowing how to do it in a way that this situation allow us grow spiritually, painful at times situation allow us to grow spiritually is priceless. Now, Michael, what happens if you don't even have the time to align yourself and be in that beautiful space, in peaceful space where I'm just able to express myself and where another person just able to express themselves, where we ask permission? What if the confrontation happens so fast that, like a thought, like it's just happening, it's a reactive confrontation, right? So how can you things happen, and we do. Like, I just had a confrontation yesterday with someone who's very close to me, person I love very much, and I had a confrontation and it happened very fast. So I think it happened for the reason that we can talk about it today. Like, what do you do? And even though, like, by the end of the confrontation we were able to like create that space, but still, like, what do you do when you react before you can create space for proactive confrontation, or before you can even remember that I have to detach myself, like you were teaching us today, detach myself from being right, from wanting to prove that this is not the right way to live, or so on and so forth?
That's a great question. Probably any student of the Kabbalah Center has heard the term of restriction.
Mm-hmm.
Golden rule of Kabbalists of how to make the right decisions in your life, where you are able to, not be influenced by your reactivity, but be much more proactive, right? But again, everybody's different. If you're an Aries, probably it's, and the spot, it's going to be much harder for you to take a pause and say, okay, let me see what's better. You're gonna go after trying to prove yourself right? That's just what the kind of person. There's nothing wrong with Aries. It's just that's their personality, the ability to restrict for an Aries or very emotional people. It's much harder than somebody who is like a Pisces who doesn't confront, probably, who is the opposite, who's going to be quiet and go inside of them right away. What do you do in that situation? It depends. If you're able to be self-aware and quote unquote wake up and be conscious, that's great, right? And take that pause of restriction. Pause and say, you know what? I'm entering a zone of confrontation. Usually, if you have precedence, usually with this person, it doesn't turn out so well. So it's better just to step back. If you see that there's no there's no conversation of peace and finding this common ground, maybe it's better to take a break and come back to it later. Because when you do get quote unquote fired up, and when you do get like boiled, it's not going to be easy for you to get anything right. It's better to take a pause. My dad always used to say, take 15-minute break. Take 15-minute break. Go separate yourself completely from each other. Don't look at each other. Go into different rooms. Make sure you're not even in each other's sights. And for 15 minutes, you just relax, and then come back, and then see if it will be if you'll be able to do a better job. But once it's happening in a moment, it's emotions start to take over. The tsunami of emotions are very strong, and once they take over, and once they start to manipulate, and control your thoughts and your speech and your physicality and everything, it's very hard. It's like a tsunami. You're under this tsunami, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard to get out of it, like a tsunami, right? If a tsunami hits you, try to get out of it. You won't be able to. So take a moment instead to say, okay, so maybe we'll take a 15-minute break, just when we are not going, head to head. And if you're able to do that, that's great. Also, if the confrontation happens, I heard a great quote that you're not the last thing that you have done. So a lot of times when a confrontation does happen, and when we confront with people, we start to feel bad that, like, oh, I'm so, they are this, we start to label them, we start to label ourselves. And that's not true. You are not the last thing that you have done. It's a great quote. I heard it from Monica Berg. I'm not sure where she got it from, somewhere else also. But it's a great quote that you and me and nobody is the last thing that you have done, or the last thing that you have said. You were a much more complex being. And you don't want to be kind of like labeling, oh, I was so negative, and that person was so negative. That's who they are. That's it. That's the kind of person that they are, and that's it. And that's all they are. There's nothing good about them, and there's nothing good about me. That's all I am. I'm the last thing that I have done. It's obviously not true. Now, also in confrontation, especially in relationships, in close relationships, you want to have quote unquote rules. This is also from Monica that I learned. It's a great tool that you want to have rules of confrontation, meaning just like in a fighting match in boxing or in any sport, you have rules. You shouldn't be doing certain punches, hits, kicks, etc. Same thing in confrontation with people. When you're confronting someone, you want to make sure you never hit below the belt. You want to make sure you stay respectful. You stay, again, this is the key, that if you're just staying in the space of sharing your emotions and opinion and not trying to, push them into a certain direction, if that will work. If you're not, it's not gonna, if you are starting to label and, using words that you shouldn't be using, that will be difficult, obviously, and you never want to be influenced by your ego that much that you start to use certain words and certain things that you know you shouldn't be using and you won't be proud of in the future. You want to
Yeah.
be in a space where there is respect. So, like, certain things that my teacher Rob used to say, it's human dignity and respect. Respect. Maybe you don't have to love everyone. You don't have to, like, adore everyone and have this unconditional relationship with everyone. But you do want to have respect towards other people, and you want to experience and express human dignity to other people. That is something that you want to feel. And if it's that's maybe to help in, like you said, like when it's on the spot, when it you have a little bit of time, it's always good to get opinion from people that are anyone, but obviously especially people that are a little bit more on the same spiritual path as you are, just to get it in
Yeah.
perspective, just to get it out of you, just to get it out.
Yes.
Say, why does it bother me? What bothers me in it so much, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have spiritual tools, I'm able to go in and see, okay, self-reflection, right? What is this? What is this teaching me? What is the situation teaching me? Should I be more bold and confront and express myself, or should I be quiet and let the other person speak? What's the lesson in this situation?
Yes, what's the lesson in this situation is a wonderful question. And what comes to mind, Michael, things that we often talk about, our words are so powerful. And our words is something, once it's out, you can never take it back.
Yes.
So the energy that is unleashed through our words is no longer our control or choice we can make about it. Once it's unleashed, it's going to live in the world, and it could build, it could destroy, it could make people feel a certain way. So
Yeah.
taking responsibility for our words, how we use them, is a great thing when it comes to confrontation, because how do we confront? We confront with our words. So they do represent our internal world, and how we really feel. And so applying that proactive formula, applying this moment of slowing down and not saying a word until you can come from a place of love, is a great rule to across the board. And you don't have to like love the person, but come from place of love, right?
Respect, love.
Yes, come from desire to create love in the world with whatever you are doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is such a great practice, because no, I'm not I'm telling you, like yesterday I was in a place where I was reactive, and it was very difficult for me in the moment to stop.
Right.
And it's very difficult to get me to a place of being reactive, right? Because some people are not reactive, period. And like having this, that's another like another side of this conversation. Like you need to say things. It doesn't mean that you should not be saying how it is for you. It's just like not allowing the exposure is a practice.
Yeah.
Practice. And even so, what I want to say is, even if we are not successful in posing early enough, one of the things that Michael mentioned earlier, and I just want to bring us back to it, is not to blame ourselves, not to start feeling guilty, but instead maybe there's a follow-up to confrontation where we can ask permission for space, where we can safely, with love, go over what happened and kind of rebuild the bricks that we already built.
Mm-hmm.
So I want us, Michael, I want us to just kind of identify, because we said so much and so
Mm-hmm.
many important things. So the first thing we said is to be able to identify our emotions.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the ability to detach ourselves from our emotions.
Yeah.
So it's not our emotions speaking,
Yeah.
right?
Another, what? Yes, go ahead, and then I really want to add
No,
a
please do. Please go
bit.
ahead now.
So one very important point also is we are taught from the moment we're born, that we have the right to blame another or accuse the other person of how we feel. So we go and we say, and you did this and you made me feel this way, and you did this and you made me feel that way, and you did this and you made me feel this way, and you did this, and don't you understand this is how you make me feel, and don't you understand that this is what you do to me, and don't you understand that this is how this makes me feel, etc. And we're pointing fingers and blaming somebody for how we are feeling. In big picture, that's not something that you want to do. If you want to evolve, if you want to grow, if you want to be a better version of yourself, you do not blame other people for how I'm feeling or for getting angry, especially getting angry. So, because when some people get angry and upset, they say, you did this to me, you made me do this. You made me get upset. You made me get angry. You made me do this action. You did this. You. So we're blaming and we're pointing the finger that the other person influenced how we feel or made us angry and upset. In reality, that's not true. That's not how the universe works. There's no blame or nobody. If you are living in a space or belief and in life that other people are influencing how you feel and your anger, you are never going to deal with your anger. Your anger is your own issue. Your anger comes from you. Your anger comes from within. Your anger comes from your beliefs. Your anger is something that you need to own. It's an animal that you control. It's not something that other people are allowed to control. If you're saying that they made you angry, what you're really saying is you allowed them to make you angry. You allowed them, you gave them the ability to control how you feel. But it's never the other person that made you angry or upset or whatever.
So then I would like to say that we're going to add one more point to this for the formula of proactive confrontation is take responsibility. That everything that you feel or that happened in your world is because you created it one way or another. It's created by me, and it gives the control back in my hands. It should make us feel really, really good, actually. I'm responsible.
Yeah.
But I want...
And again, very easy to fall into the feeling guilty or shame or like, oh, it's my fault. No, that's not it. That's also not the point. That's an emotion and a feeling and consciousness that you want to avoid completely. That's just how it is. It's not, you're not guilty of it. It's not your fault. It's none of those things. That's just how it is, and that's it.
Yes, I'm not guilty of it. It's not my fault, but I'm responsible. I created it.
Exactly.
And the good news is that I created it. It means I create differently.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's number 3. And number 4 is the best gift is to have somebody else who is on the same path than you, the same values as you have, give you a reflection on the situation that is from the outside, not from the inside.
100%.
Yes.
Or just this space where you can talk it out.
Talk it out. You
take in your head. You're just talking to yourself constantly. You want to have this space where there's a conversation with somebody else.
Yes. So when you're taking things outside, and I've said it before, and speaking it with another person, which is great, then you're looking at it from the outside, and it's not happening inside anymore. That's what you want, to diffuse it. But you're looking at it, and you detach, and that helps you to detach.
Exactly.
That's how you did one of the ways to detach yourself, right? And then you need to make sure that the space is happening and is safe and for everybody, and both of the people, or if there's more people in confrontation, can safely express themselves.
Yeah.
So you're asking permission to speak, right? And share the opinions. And
literally have like a talking stick. Like you have the ability to talk, and now I have the ability to talk.
Yeah. So
it's also because what happens a lot in confrontation, if you want to notice it, that it's like an atomic fusion of the interaction of back and forth. It creates more tension, more energy, and people are starting to get more aggressive, more angry, and then it just builds. So when you have the ability to talk, or the other person, if the other person, for example, is not spiritual at all, they're actually going to come to a place where they're just going to get tired and worn out, and they're not getting fed by your reactivity. So it's going to be like they're just going to be like getting frustrated. They're going to see maybe that they are not in the right, or you're going to see that maybe you're not, in the right space. Again, you see, I'm also using the right and wrong. There's no right and wrong.
Sorry, my mic was, it's in our nature. We were brought up this way, that there's right and there's wrong, there's black and there's white.
Yeah.
So we ask permission, we agree not to interrupt ourselves, right? We're not interrupting, we're just listening, proactive listening. And we make sure that we ask permission to speak honestly, and the person is ready to receive what we want to speak about. And the ground rule for everything, that you genuinely care. Because otherwise, you can say anything to anybody. If you come from the place of love and care, it will always come the right way, even if you don't know the right words.
True.
And no interruptions, guys. That's a difficult one. No interruptions. Amazing. Michael, I feel that we're running out of time today, but this is a huge conversation. And I know that for so many people, it really will create balance if we're going to start practicing and mastering proactive confrontation. And it will create better relationships in our personal lives and our business lives. Right? So I say that we should look at the calendar where we will come back to this conversation and go deeper. How do you feel about that? Yeah. I love that. And I have this quote on the screen right now all this time: you are not the last thing you have done or said. And I hope people who are watching it live or replaying it will make a note of that, because this is a path to create a proactive confrontation and remove the judgment from yourself or from somebody else. So I'm going to hide this quote. And Michael, just 2 words about this is a huge subject, but what is happening, the great conjunction.
So I mentioned it, but it's all about changing and removal of old systems in all ways, in spirituality, in emotions, in government, in monetary, in society. Everything is becoming much more wholesome, much more about the other person, much more equal, much more free. We're leaving this system of very rigid rules, the rules of Capricorn, the rules of Saturn, where everything is rigid, everything's by the rules. You have to work, and do hard work, and then maybe you'll be successful, and maybe you're going to have it. And we're entering a time that there's no real, kind of more like what the Kabbalists teach with tree of life reality, where you don't have to work 50 years to have a happy life afterwards. You can be happy right now, and you don't. The cause and effect, like the Saturn is the IRS of the solar system, where he is going to everyone as kind of demanding payments for everything that you've done. And we're kind of entering a different zone where things are going to be much more free, much more easy, much more unified, much more about humanity and unity. And instead of being, these rigid rules that this is how it has to be and this is what it is, and more like dogmatic, that this is how it is. Also probably spirituality will be changing, and a lot of religious systems will be becoming more and more lighter. And however, it's not like something will happen tomorrow. It's kind of like a slow progression. It might be like a peak, but it's been building up for a few months already. It's not just like it just appears. It's not like a click of a button. It's more like a slow download and progression, but it's already affecting us for a long time.
Yes, and I've been feeling it, and I think that it's like not months, it's years. We've been coming to this shift of consciousness, global shift of consciousness, with people who are like pioneers and are guiding us, and more people are joining us. So we are all in a way and on the way, well on the way to the place where we are going the soft skills are going to be the key skills for us. Ability to relate to other people, feel and emotions are more important than just logic, just the harsh logic.
Yeah.
So creating situations where it's good for everyone and it is possible that everyone wins. And I know it sounds idealistic, but at least this is the direction. It doesn't mean that we're going to be there tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
But this is the
So,
age of Aquarius that
yeah,
we're entering.
exactly. Exactly. The official beginning of Age of Aquarius.
We
Uh,
are in the beginning. And who gets that in their lifetime? We're so lucky, just that alone.
true. True. Yeah. You can always like in access consciousness, the question that you learn is how does it get any better?
There you go. So, Michael, just for those people who may not know, what is the Great Conjunction, just in the two words, when is it happening? What is it exactly? Or
It,
like outline of it.
it's tomorrow, and it's from Earth's perspective. If you're looking at the sky, the map of our solar system, the two big giants of Saturn and Jupiter, the ones that are almost furthest and biggest planets away from the sun, are going to be meeting in 0 degree in the sign of Aquarius from Earth. So, and Kabbalistically, these planets are considered like angelic funnels, angelic influences into our world, and they're entering a different source of energy. So, your source of energy is not going to be from kind of like a harsh and rigid system, but it's going to be, like you said, like humanitarian, unity, oneness. That's what's going to be the kind of the vibes and the energy that's going to be permeating our reality more and more.
Thank you, Michael. This is really, really, really powerful.
Yeah,
And this, like, also, guys, remember we're coming to the end of the year. So all
yeah,
of the things that are happening, like, we want to connect to that.
yes, and it's amazing that it also happens on the day when it's the longest night and the shortest day. So
Yes.
it's a time of a breaking point when kind of winter ends, winter starts to end, and the energy of the sun, the energy of positivity is going to start to increase more and more and more. It's a special time, for everyone. If you're on Earth, you should be noticing that. So,
Yes. And it's
yeah.
my mom's birthday.
Oh, amazing! It's my sister's birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday.
Thank you
Happy
to you
birthday.
too.
We should start saying happy birthday to people. Like
Yeah, yeah.
whoever
All the
whoever
Capricorns.
um
Happy birthday to all the Capricorns and Sagittarius.
yeah, happy birthday to Sagittarius and Capricorns, and we will make sure we do it every month now.
Yes, yes,
Every sign.
yeah,
And just to remind you, the theme of this month is trusting the process and having certainty in
yeah.
the process.
Certainty, faith, and trust. Those three words.
Certainty, faith, and trust are key words for the month of Capricorn.
Yeah.
So amazing. Do you have a moment for for a little
Do a
meditation?
quick meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah. We it, just again, it's very simple. You just want to close your eyes, be very relaxed, be very comfortable, and you want to envision yourself to be surrounded by light, to be surrounded by beautiful energy of the light force of the Creator, and it's this pearl-like, beautiful energy, very soft, very gentle, and want to feel yourself being opening up to this energy, opening up to the universe, to yourself, to other people, and sending unconditional love to yourself, to people around you, to all your relationships. If you want to send this and receive this unconditional love to you and all your relationships and people around you, say yes. And if you want to be able to detach yourself from your emotions and to also understand that you are the owner and the creator of your emotions, that it's in your hands, also say yes. And if you want to regain all your power and control of yourself and not be giving other people the ability to control how you feel, the ability to control what you believe or what you feel and experience, also say yes. And the feeling that you want to always experience is a feeling of peace and tranquility. That no matter what is happening outside of you, you're able to remain in a state of peace, tranquility. In Hebrew, it's the word shalem or shalom, peace also, this state of completeness. So if you want those feelings and that you are in them already, that you're experiencing them, say yes. And the ultimate feeling of appreciation, it's what brings more and more blessings into our life. Constantly be feeling and experiencing more and more appreciation for ourselves, for the light, for the universe, for people in our lives, for everything. More and more appreciation. And this idea that you're not the last thing that you have done, really want to allow it to sink in. Really not be reactive to the moment of what just happened and assuming and starting to label, but really be open and understand that you're more than that. And other people also. And I wanted to read a paragraph from the ancient texts to help us connect with this energy. פתח החו ידוע, אברי ואמר והקלטה ושבתה וברכה את השם אלוהיך וכי לא מברכיננה לי לקדוש ברוך הוא עד לא יכל לך איתלן להקדומי בצפרה ולסידורי שבחה דילי כדקה יאות ולברכה בשמי עד לא יברך לאחרה ועל מה וכתיף לא תעקל על חדם אסור לו למקל על לא יברך למראה ושעתה כתיב ועקלת ושבתה וברכה. Whenever you're ready, you can just open your eyes. And thank you, Julia. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, everybody.
Have an amazing conjunction.
Yes, let's have an amazing conjunction. I love it. Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays, guys. And thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel so you will get alerts. Please do leave us messages and texts because it helps us to build our program going forward, and we're replying to everybody every time. And there people are, hi guys, great meditation, Michael, thank you. And thank you. So people are sending us great messages. We're so glad that we are yes, happy holidays. Mickey saying happy holidays. And thank you, fantastic connection. So please join us next Sunday for our last broadcast this year. It's going to be amazing because we are going to celebrate the 2020. There's a lot to celebrate in 2020, even with all the chaos that had happened. And have a wonderful week. Next Sunday at 12, sending you so much love. And remember,
you're amazing.
You are amazing.
Yes.
You're amazing. Mwah.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.